BooTube. Um, I am going to attempt to finish episode 10 of Fear the Walking Dead season 2. I believe it's titled Do Not Disturb. I'm in the middle of eating lunch at the same time, so if you hear me like munching on something or like I turn around because my food's literally like right behind me. See that yellow wrapper right there? It's my food. So if I literally turn around and like start eating something, I'm sorry. And my drink is literally right above this camera. Look at that. But anyway, if I remember correctly, I left off at with Chris and Travis. They're hiding because the men that Chris stole the food from at the restaurant pretty much found their campsite and promises not to hurt them if they just come out of the bushes, right? So they come out of hiding, and the three men pretty much invite Travis and Chris to like eat with them, right? And we find out that those three guys' names are Brandon, Derek, and the last one apparently name is called Baby James. I'm guessing his name is James. I don't know why they call him Baby James. Maybe because he's either the youngest in the group or maybe he has a baby face. I don't really remember his face at the moment. I'll look it up again. But I'm only guessing he either has a baby face or he's the youngest of the group. That's why they call him Baby James. But anyway, we get back to Alicia back at the hotel. And remember the last time we saw her, hang on. She's hiding inside a room in the beach hotel, and she's all counting how many infected are roaming the hallways, right? And she's like peeping through the little peephole. She was preparing to leave, but she looks at the peephole one last time and she sees a freaking infected individual just rah, like that at the freaking door. I would not be surprised if she freaked out, because I would too. It's like, you see like a bunch of infected passing by, totally not minding the doorway, and then you're like, okay, it seems okay. I counted them all. And I could leave, but one last look before I go, and then there's one right there, right? But anyway, Alicia manages to venture outside the room, and as she's going, she notices like down the hallway there's infected, so she decides to go the other way. Unfortunately for her, the other way is also covered with infected, so she has to turn back to where the room is, but luckily for her, there is an elevator. She manages to pry open the elevator shaft, and just before both groups of infected corner her, she jumps through the damn thing and grabs onto the cable wires of the freaking elevator, and she's dangling there, right? And like, we see two infected try to reach for her, and they end up crashing down on the rooftop of the what you call it, the elevator. You know how the elevator is like a box, like cable wires and everything? She's on the cable wires, and the actual freaking elevator shaft is like right there, and they crash land. So sadly, she can't go back through the open doors because, you know, the two groups of infected are still there. She can't slide down to the bottom, the rooftop of the elevator, because two infected just fell on top of it, and they're still there trying to grab her. So she's just stuck there dangling. She's trying so desperately to climb. And it makes you think, like, I better do some arm lifts and leg lifts or whatever and work out and stuff, because if the apocalypse happens and I go through what Alicia had to go through and literally be dangling like that on cables, and I can't go down because there's infected down there, I better hope and pray that I do some major workout for my arms and legs, because if I don't, and I end up in Alicia's situation during an apocalypse, no bueno, I will die. I'll probably like either slide down accidentally, or because I lose strength, and I probably will slide down and get eaten by those two infected down there, or I slide down and accidentally like fall like on the edge or something away from them, you know what I mean? But anyway, she's trying to shimmy up, but she can't. But amazingly enough, someone on the a floor above Alicia, if you notice that she came out of the open elevator door on one floor, but there is a floor, like one floor above where she came out of, someone was up there, and at first I thought it was Ophelia, because remember, Alicia was with Ophelia, and Alicia ended up taking a shower in one of the rooms, and Ophelia went straight up missing, right? So I thought that person that was one floor above where Alicia came out of, I thought that was Ophelia coming back to help her, but it turns out it was the new lady, if I remember her name, hang on, Elena, who turns out to be that woman who's one floor above in the open elevator shaft. And she's like, she manages to help Alicia up to the floor above and save her from all the infected, but as she rescues her, she straight up uses an axe and like threatens her, like pushes her up against the wall with the axe, threatening her, saying, "Where is he?" So that happened, and I'm still wondering what the hell happened to sorry, BooTube, you cannot get mad at me for this, especially that particular word. Like damn and well, you can't get mad at, because damn is another word for, like, you know, the Hoover Dam, and hell's in the Bible. I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm still wondering what the heck happened to Ophelia. She was with Alicia before Alicia took a shower in that hotel room. It makes me wonder, where did she go exactly? Because keep this in mind, Alicia came to that hotel with her mom Madison, and Strand, and Ophelia. Madison and Strand were at the freaking bar drinking while Alicia and Ophelia were looking through the hotel rooms together. We still know that, from what we know, that Madison and Strand are still surrounded by infected at the bar. And we already know where Alicia was. Where did Ophelia go exactly? Did she just... I don't know. I'm just kind of worried about Ophelia at the moment. But anyway, it makes me also curious of the fact that Elena... We all know she's the same hotel lady, right? We all know it's her. And the last time we saw her was in that flashback where she was in charge of a wedding. Infected stuff happened. And she and a man, who I'm guessing also works at that hotel, obviously, locked the entire banquet hall that had the wedding people in it to contain the infected thing that was happening. Makes me wonder, is the he that Elena is demanding for, is the he she's looking for the very same guy that helped her lock the banquet hall, right? But anyway, Alicia does ask Elena to help lure the infected because apparently they're in this room, right? And she realizes that the person putting all those do not disturb signs on all the doors that have infected in it are actually Elena doing that, right? And she's like, you're the one luring all the infected into the rooms and putting the do not disturb signs on them to tell people there's infected, right? So she's like, hey, help me lure all the infected out of the stairwell so I can go downstairs, because my mom and a friend, I came here with my mom and two friends, and I know for a fact my mom and at least one of my friends is down there and being surrounded by infected. I need to get downstairs. You're the one that actually managed to lure all the infected to these rooms, right? Help me do it again so I could get downstairs. And as she's trying to explain to Elena what she wants Elena to do, Elena explains to her that apparently some of the wedding guests from the wedding actually managed to take her nephew. Apparently that guy is her nephew named Hector, and apparently they're taking her nephew hostage because they want the keys to the hotel. Apparently she has like the master of all, she's like the master of all keys. She has keys to in the entire hotel. And whatever party guests are left from that wedding, they want the keys because they want control of the hotel. And plus they're pissed off at her for locking majority of them in the banquet hall, right? So Alicia gives her an ultimatum. It's like, you help me clear the stairwell of infected so I can get downstairs to get to my mom and my friend, and I will help you find your nephew. Sevi? Right? Which is not a bad exchange. I applaud Alicia for like having the balls to say that first off, but at the same time thinking with her head, which is pretty cool. they're helping each other out, you know what I mean? Alicia is asking Elena's expertise on clearing out the infected so she could get to her family. And in exchange, help Elena get her nephew. Win-win, if you think so. If you think about it, right? And then we end up with Travis and Chris. Travis asks, all three of the guys, what were their names again? Brandon, Derek, and Baby James. Where are you guys from? And like, oh, we're from San Diego. We came out here. I forgot why they came out to Mexico, but they were trying to get back home since. And unfortunately, Travis informs Brandon's group, your hometown was completely destroyed and annihilated by the military, along with every other major city in the Continental Divide, right? And they're like, how do you know this? It's like, well, we came from up north, right? And on our way down here to Mexico, we saw San Diego and LA and all them in flames, right? And I feel kind of sorry for these guys because you could tell that they're completely devastated, especially one guy. I don't know who he was. I think he was either Brandon or Derek. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Baby James. I think it's either Brandon or Derek, one of the leaders, right? He looked completely devastated. I'm guessing like he obviously has family there, and to hear that his entire home city is completely in flames, that it was like that the freaking military blew up his city. If I was in his state, I'd be devastated too. I probably would. But like Brandon offers Travis and Chris a ride to the US. He's like, there's nothing here. We could go back home. We'll give you a ride there, right? Since you got your car's not working. Travis, being very suspicious of these three guys to begin with, doesn't like the idea of traveling with like three people he doesn't know, despite the fact that Chris really likes these guys, and he's like, we should go with them. They like me. You may not like them, but all three of them love me, right? And despite, Travis not liking these guys and not wanting to go all the way back to the US with them, Chris, they have an argument. And I don't kind of blame Chris on this one, because Chris was like, you don't want to get out of Mexico not because all the cities and major cities in the US are on fire. You don't want to leave Mexico because Madison is still here in Mexico. You don't want to go that far from her, do you? Which is kind of true, because, they're together and all that stuff. And that's probably the reason why Travis doesn't want to leave Mexico that much, right? And, I don't blame Chris for being kind of pissed. He's like, why are you here? Are you really here to help me? Or you just trying to keep me away from Madison and them? Because, Chris knows that Madison and Alicia are still wary of him, right? They had such a great father-son moment. I really don't want it to crumble like this, but these three guys coming into their lives totally shook the father-son dynamic they had, and I really don't like it. But anyway, Travis does decline riding with them to the US, but he does accept riding with them until they get to the next town at least, right? And, not gonna lie to you, these guys don't seem like very bad guys. They seem innocent enough. And they look genuinely upset when they heard that San Diego was completely blown up. So I kind of sympathize with them, but I don't. And plus, they're practically teenagers if you look at them, right? They still got that teenage boy rebellion thing going on. But I don't see them as dangerous, like dangerous serial killer kind of people. You know what I mean? But anyway, Chris keeps trying to tell his dad, we should join Brandon's group. And Travis, he worries that the men are too dangerous to be trusted. I don't blame him because they don't know these guys. But I don't think they're so dangerous that they're like serial killer dangerous. I just think they're dangerous because they're young men, no rules whatsoever. I know, I could pretty much tell they're going to be reckless. That's the type of dangerous they are. But I don't think they're dangerous to the point where they'll kill you in your sleep. You know what I mean? I just think they're reckless dangerous. You know what I mean? And Chris, the way he replied to his dad was that when Travis said that these men are too dangerous to be trusted, the way Chris answered that kind of gave me chills that Chris is going to like a darker side, because Chris replied, maybe that's what it takes. And it makes me kind of worried about that Chris is going down that very dark path, and I don't want it for him, you know what I mean? So I'm running out of time. I'm probably going to have a part 3 to this, but in my honest opinion, I think Chris is probably going to go down a dark side. The fact that he actually legitimately said that in order to survive this apocalypse, we have to be dangerous people now. And that's what worries me. But anyway, I'll see you guys in part 3, okay? Mwah. Bye.